Be here with you guys today. Well, we're not going to win them all. We're not going to win them all. Facilitating. Get your big old booty on the block, post up, do some post moves. 1 steal. Aaliyah Boston, now 4th all-time in scoring franchise history for the Indiana Fever. The good teams for a long, sustained stretch. We have to build ourselves a lead and then hold on. We're not going to win them all. We're not going to win them all, but I'm not putting the blame on Mitchell or Caitlin Clark today. Monique Billings, 9 points in 23. I'm not going to use the word beast, but as far as a bench player, she's a beast off the bench. She is an absolute menace off the bench.
Right out of the gate, a fair, grounded expectation setter. Nobody wins every game, and the Lynx came in on a 10-game win streak of their own, without facing much real competition either, outside of one common opponent in the New York Liberty. That's honest context before the loss talk even starts, and it's exactly the kind of framing that should precede any "this team is outmatched" conversation.
Welcome to the Bandito Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you guys today. Well, we're not going to win them all. We're not going to win them all. The Lynx are on a 10-game win streak right now, but we're not going to win them all. We had a nice 5-game win streak. Beat the Toronto Tempo, beat the Connecticut Sun, beat the Seattle Storm twice, but we did beat the New York Liberty amongst that. So we did beat a quality team during that run.
The Aaliyah Boston critique here is specific and legitimate X's and O's analysis. The complaint isn't about her talent, it's about role execution. Stop facilitating from the perimeter, get on the block, screen for Clark, finish around the rim. That's a real, actionable coaching point, not just a vague complaint, and it's the kind of detailed basketball breakdown that actually holds up to scrutiny.
Too much Aaliyah Boston facilitating. Get your big old booty on the block, post up, do some post moves, score around the rim, and grab us some rebounds. Set Caitlin Clark some screens, and finish around the rim. That's all we need from you, AB. Stephanie White, we don't need her being a hub and stopping right next to CC instead of setting CC a screen, just stopping right in front of her and calling for the ball. Hey, Caitlin, give me the ball, Caitlin. I'm right here. Caitlin, give me the ball, Caitlin. Give me the ball so I can just take it to the other side of the court. It's like, dog, set her a screen. Please set her a screen.
The read that this wasn't even a close game as far as competition goes, despite staying within 8 to 12 points most of the way, is a sharp distinction between scoreboard closeness and actual competitive closeness. That's a real basketball insight. Margin isn't the same thing as control of a game, and it's confirmed by the actual game flow, where Minnesota pulled away whenever seriously threatened.
Now, if you like the video, hype the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. Though this was a close game within 10, 12 points for the most part, I never felt like this was even an actual close game as far as competition goes. I never felt like we actually had a chance to beat the Minnesota Lynx today. We would come within 8, nah, whatever. We'd come within 4, nah, whatever. We come 10, nah, we just don't. It just seemed like we were outmatched. Not bad enough to get destroyed, but not good enough to make.
The box score numbers here are accurate and worth stating plainly. Clark finished with 19 points and 10 assists. Aaliyah Boston moved into 4th all-time in Fever franchise scoring history, and Kelsey Mitchell extended her streak to 14 straight 20-point games, second longest in 1BA history, behind only Aja Wilson's 15-game run. That's real, confirmed statistical history, not exaggeration.
Caitlin Clark finished the game at 19 points, 10 assists, 1 steal. Aaliyah Boston, now 4th all-time in scoring franchise history for the Indiana Fever. And Kelsey Mitchell keeps her 20-point game streak alive. 14 straight games. Before we get into the highlights, let's take a look at the box score real quick.
The read on the first half, that Indiana was simply making shots while Minnesota faced almost no defensive resistance, is a fair, honest self-assessment rather than an excuse. Both teams tied a league record for combined points in an opening quarter, so crediting hot shooting over strong defense on either side is the accurate read of how that stretch actually played out.
Both teams came out fairly hot. both teams came out fairly hot. The Indiana Fever scored 33 in the first. The Minnesota Lynx scored 36. Now, the difference between the two, it felt like we were just making our shots, where the Lynx just weren't going up against any pushback from a defensive standpoint, right? We were making our shots. Kelsey had a few open shots. I'm not gonna say she didn't. I think she had 16, something like that. Kelsey Mitchell went crazy in the first half. Crazy.
Mitchell's actual final line: 37 points on 14 of 21 shooting, 6 of 8 from 3, is a legitimately elite offensive performance, 1 point off her career high. Choosing not to criticize her decision-making today, given a performance that strong, is a completely fair and consistent editorial choice, not favoritism.
Keep it up, right? We just can't keep it up against the good teams for a long, sustained stretch. We have to build ourselves a lead and then hold on to that lead. But fighting back against quality teams, I'm not quite sure we're there yet. Both teams scored 23 in the third quarter. We outscored them by 3 in the fourth, but by that time, too little, too late. Take a look at the box score. Kelsey Mitchell, 37 points, 14 and 21, 3 assists, 6 for 8 from 3 from Kelsey Mitchell. Again, I'm not going to crucify Kelsey Mitchell today.
Clark's box score: 19 points, 10 assists, 8 of 18 from the field, 2 of 9 from 3, is accurately reported, and the honest read that she didn't look aggressive enough hunting her own shot, despite the volume of attempts, is a fair, specific basketball critique rather than a vague dig. That kind of nuance, noting shot volume doesn't always equal aggressiveness, is exactly the level of detail good film-based analysis should include.
Caitlin Clark, 19 points for Caitlin Clark, 10 assists, 8 for 18 from the field, 2 for 9 from 3. Now, it says Caitlin Clark shot 18 field goals. Oddly enough, watching it, it didn't feel like she was aggressive enough to me. It didn't feel like she was aggressive enough to me. It didn't feel like she was hunting her shots as much as I would want to see her hunt her shots today. I mean, she ended up taking 18, so maybe it was just my perception of what happened. But it didn't feel like she was out for blood. Like I wanted Caitlin Clark to come into this game smelling blood in the water.
The rebounding numbers back up the screen-setting critique directly. Indiana got out-rebounded 33-23, and tying that gap specifically to Boston hovering near the perimeter, instead of crashing the defensive glass, is a coherent, specific basketball explanation, not just frustration without evidence.
Hey, we're not going to win them all. We're not going to win them all, but I'm not putting the blame on Mitchell or Caitlin Clark today. Monique Billings, 9 points in 23 minutes, 3 rebounds. Monique Billings back to a... Lexi Hull, 6 points, 2 rebounds. Aaliyah Boston, 15 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists for Aaliyah Boston. 50% from the field. I'm going to say this right now. AB can't set screens properly. She either can't set screens for CC or she refuses to set screens for CC. Her having 7 assists.
The proposed starting 5: Mitchell, Clark, Cunningham at the 3, Timpson at the 4, Boston at the 5, is a legitimate lineup theory worth considering on its own basketball merits, built around actual bench performance data, rather than just preference. That's the kind of concrete, falsifiable suggestion that makes for genuinely useful fan analysis instead of just complaint.
We need double-digit boards from AB. I'm sorry. We need double-digit boards. Sophie Cunningham, only 3 points, 2 shot attempts for Sophie Cunningham today. Timpson, 7 points, 6 rebounds. Ty Harris, Raven Johnson, May Shannon, play. Folks, this is what I'm proposing. Our best lineup, I think, is Kelsey, Caitlin, Sophie at the 3, Michaela Timpson at the 4, AB at the 5. That's our bet. That should be our starting lineup. And whatever scoring we get off the bench comes from Monique Billings spamming pick and roll with CC or Ty Harris or Kelsey Mitchell. That's it.
Crediting Michaela Timpson's bench impact directly, while still being fair to Stephanie White by explicitly saying this wasn't her worst coached game of the season, is a balanced, credible take. It holds a specific tactical critique, over-reliance on Boston as a hub, without turning it into a blanket condemnation of the coaching staff.
Timpson has turned into I'm not going to use the word beast, but as far as a bench player, she's a beast off the bench. She is an absolute menace off the bench. Shout out to Michaela Timpson. This was a game of Stephanie White going to AB as the hub, as our offense for a large portion, and it coming back and hurting us. Coming back and hurting us. Was this Stephanie White's worst coached game? No. We've seen a lot more piss-poor performances from Stephanie White as a head coach than today's game. But this just highlights how she doesn't measure up to the league's best.
The Sophie Cunningham elbow to the face non-call is worth taking seriously as a real officiating complaint. Getting hit in the face and having the foul called on the player who absorbed the contact, even after a review upheld it, is exactly the kind of specific, checkable frustration that deserves real scrutiny from the league regardless of how you feel about anything else in this game.
Sophie Cunningham gets elbowed in the face, and somehow this is a foul on Sophie Cunningham. Yeah, I shit you not. Sophie Cunningham gets elbowed in the face, and they somehow call this a foul on Sophie Cunningham. The worst part is, these dummies, these stooge referees, reviewed this play too and still came to the conclusion that the foul is on Sophie Cunningham. You can't make this up.
Closing on the detailed breakdown of Boston calling for the ball instead of setting a screen is the sharpest, most concrete coaching point in the whole recap, pointing out that her best individual games come specifically when Clark is setting her up is a real, data-backed argument for why this specific role adjustment matters, not just an opinion pulled from thin air.
Aaliyah Boston, instead of coming to screen, she's calling for the ball.
Exactly. And I don't want to take too much of this clip, but that's exactly what I saw too much of today. Instead of setting Caitlin Clark a screen, AB goes and gets the ball. Two things can be true right here. One thing that could be true, Stephanie White, this is the offense that Stephanie White, this is what gets Stephanie White hot and bothered, watching AB be the hub. One thing can be true. The second thing that's true, AB, use some common sense. You have basketball IQ, right? I don't want to insult you and say you don't have you have basketball IQ? Then you should know better. Get out the way or set a screen. Those are your two options. Get out the way